Q4, especially November and December, can feel euphoric. You are making more sales than you ever thought possible, more sales in those 2 months alone, more than anything you've sold the rest of the month. But with that euphoria comes major disappointment for many when January hits. And while I absolutely can't guarantee that you're not going to see a dip in sales after Q4, it is something you should be ready for. Don't quit your job based on your December sales, but there are many different tricks that you can implement to make sure that your January is extremely profitable and that your store is at a better point than it was, say, up until September of last year. Just because Q4 is done doesn't mean you need to expect the sales that you had in the previous year at the exact same time. You can leverage Q4 to set yourself up to have a much more profitable year than the prior. And if you don't know me, hello, my name is Christina. I have been a print-on-demand seller for 4 years, selling across Etsy and Shopify with over 2.5 million in revenue, and I help others make sales online with print on demand. And if you're one of those sellers already worried about what January is going to look like, number one, I am proud of you for thinking that far. But if you are dreading it, then I want this video to help shift your mindset around that. So the first thing that we need to do to ensure that your January doesn't just flatline is to actually do just that and shift your mindset on what Q1 means. Q1 does not mean dead, especially for everybody. In fact, usually January is around my third or fourth most profitable month. For me, I actually see the bigger slump in spring and summer sales, but for me, I love Q1. Birthdays still exist in Q1. People got gift cards throughout Q1. Perhaps they didn't get a gift that they wanted, and now they know that they can go buy it for themselves. January is still also cold. Stay inside. It's dark outside. Most people are on their computers longer, which means they're seeing more ads. They're doing more time shopping. So I still find there are quite a bit of sellers for me in January. Once you get that in your head that you're not just going to fully dry up in January, then it becomes much easier in Q4 to start designing like you're going to get sales in January, which you will. For me, Q4 isn't about just selling niches that are for Q4. For example, I'm usually not really focusing on holiday products. Many people are, but that's not the way that I have taken it, and it's not the way that has set up my store for success. Yes, I do have some Christmas products, some Halloween products, some Thanksgiving products, but I'd say about 80 to 90+% of my store is focusing on evergreen niches. And what are evergreen niches? They are niches not tied to holidays. So things like pets, careers, hobbies, funny shirts, things that even after Christmas or after Halloween or even after Thanksgiving can still sell. They might be bought as gifts for people for people's birthdays. They might be bought from themselves, but because they're not tied to a holiday, even after a certain holiday ends, they still have a chance to sell. If your whole Etsy store is Christmas products, well, after Christmas, then yes, in January, you're probably not going to have any sales. And to help you even want to do this even more by focusing on evergreen niches, during Q4, what is bought more? Christmas shirts or gifts for people for Christmas? And usually when you're buying a gift for someone, it is actually of an evergreen product. You're not buying someone a Christmas product because they're going to unwrap it on Christmas. So they're not going to have use for it after they unwrap it. So usually it's tied to someone's interests, to their pets, something that stays year round or something that is applicable to them all the time. And then once you start building up those sales for those evergreen products in Q4, because they're being bought as gifts and gifts and gifts for Christmas, they are now the top of the ranking. And going into January, people might still buy them because people still are interested in things for their pets. They're interested in the sport that they like still. They're still interested in reading, in knitting, in crocheting. So maybe someone buys it for a birthday gift for them, or again, maybe they just buy it for themselves because they like that. For me, building evergreen niches and focusing on that is how I have maintained a decent amount of sales throughout the year. I still very much experience the highs and lows of seasonality, but it is not a spike and then no sales. If you do focus on trends and maybe your best selling products just happen to be holiday products, well, now it's time to grab the elements of that design that have worked for you and try to apply it to different niches, because yes, that product is likely not going to sell afterwards, but doesn't mean you can't carry components to it to different niches that can help you stand out in 2026. So what exactly do I mean by that? Because it got a little bit confusing. But what you're gonna do is take a look at what was doing really well for you for Q4. And you're going to try to start turning that into brand new designs in new niches that still have a chance to sell in 2026. A lot of times, what people do is they start designing from scratch, when the best thing to do is look at what's already working for you and then keep applying and iterating on it. So say, for example, I had this design and for my Christmas, it's actually doing really, really well. And I want to start creating brand new designs for it that can still sell after Christmas. Well, right in Kittl here, they have now built in ChatGPT. So I asked it, I have a graphic design of 6 stamps across a shirt. Right now it's Christmas themed, but I want to make evergreen versions. What other niches do you think this style would work in? And we got things like nature and outdoors, travel, I could see doing really well, things with popular landmarks. We have things like books and literature, highlighting specific books and locations in books given you're allowed to, things like food and drink, things like vintage, different hobbies and crafts, things like cultural symbols, many different niches here that you can do. Or maybe you just want to move it over to other holidays that are coming up. So right in 2026, people are likely starting to shop for Valentine's Day. So that could be a niche that you try, but let's make one right in Kittl here. And Kittl has made it so easy to make variations now because of their smart boards. So I'm just going to click on my art board here and we're going to click under tools and hit add smartboard. And then you can add a prompt. I put make a travel version of this design with popular landmarks in each of the spaces or stamps. And with one click and 10 seconds later, I got this result, which majorly resembles the one design that for me, I already have proof sells because it already sold for me in Q4 as a Christmas theme. But now I've changed it to this travel theme, which honestly looks incredible for having made it in 10 seconds. The next thing you want to do during Q4 to set up for the next year is to start ensuring that you can get repeat customers and bring back your Q4 buyers again in 2026. And the first way that you're going to do that is by setting up your insert card. In Printify, if you use Printify and the supplier that you use allows for gift cards, what you can do is go to your account, go to branding, and then we're going to be looking at package inserts, and you're going to set up your package inserts. And then you're going to set this up and you can see the size here. So this is a 6" by 4. So we're going to go build one of these out. And it's really helpful because a lot of the design platforms out there already have custom templates. So depending on which one you use, you're just going to go on over to your preferred design platform. For me, it's Kittl. I'm going to look up a design style that I like. So under their templates, I just put in package insert, and then you can go select one of the ones that you like the style of. Let's say I like this one up here. We're going to use template. And then before we actually do a lot of the designing, we just need to resize this to make sure that this is to the Printify standards. Quickly jumping back over to Printify because my Kittl is in pixels. Under new upload, we can see the print file requirements. So I actually need this to be 1795 by 1193 pixels. So when my Kittl artboard opens, I'm going to click on the artboard, and back under the right side where you see artboard size, I'm going to make sure I set that correctly. So that is 1795 by 1193. And then you can go ahead and just play with this. Things that I recommend including just a thank you note for their order, a request to leave a review, but for the purpose of this video, the more important things to include are a coupon code so that people can gift this to a friend if they want to buy another one, or for them to use. Maybe they bought it as a gift for a friend and they actually loved it and they wanted to buy one themselves. I do that all the time. I buy my sister a gift and then realize I actually want that because our style is the same. And so I'll go and buy the same one again in the new year. You'll introduce a way for people to keep in contact with you. So if you have Instagram, you're going to put your Instagram, and maybe to get people to follow you, you can run a giveaway and state, tag me in a photo, and I will give 5 people who tagged me in a photo this week a $10 gift card. These are the things that you can set up right within Etsy under marketing, coupons, and sales. So you can go and set up any deals that encourage people to stay in contact with you. If you do a email newsletter, whether that's on Shopify or on Etsy, here is also the perfect spot to give someone an incentive to join your newsletter so you can keep in contact with them to announce new sales, just trying to get their contact so you can reach them again in the new year. You're going to make sure as well that you have all of your discounts set up, specifically your thank you offer, which sends someone a coupon after they purchase from you, again, just to encourage another sale a little bit later down the line. So I would just make sure you have all of these set up. And if you don't, hop on that as soon as you watch this video, because while not everyone's going to use this, it's still going to help bring more sales for zero cost besides running a sale, which I highly recommend you run a sale that's larger than the sale that you currently have on in your store. So if you always run a 20% off sale in your store, then I'd recommend setting these at least to 25% off so that people have a reason to come back and use these. And it seems like it has a little bit more urgency to use it. For many of us, yes, January is likely going to be quieter. Again, doesn't mean nothing. I still have great Januaries, but it is quieter, and that just gives me more time for designing. In the depths of Q4, I am just staying on top of customer service. I'm not really worried about new product launches, versus January is the perfect time to start focusing back on your designing, testing new niches, seeing what trends are popping up in 2026. In fact, I just released a video right before this one on the top 2026 niches and events that will be doing really well this year. So use January to start creating for those. And if you have social media or an email list, then January is the perfect time to start announcing new collections or new product drops. Something like new year, new designs, and send that out as an email blast or as a social media post. Something like a cozy winter drop and focus around cozy products such as sweatshirts. Maybe you saw that you had a best-selling t-shirt in Q4 and now you want to add it to some new products. Well, you can announce that as well if you have a new product drop. For me, a lot of the times when I have a best-selling design on a sweatshirt, because typically I list things on sweatshirts first, then I'll start to list it on new products because I already have proof that that design works. So I'll put it on a tote bag or a mug, depending on what other products that design works with. So don't pack it up after Q4. If you are setting up correctly and you are aware that yes, a drop is coming, but there is a way to make sure that you're still making money in January by correctly setting up earlier, then you aren't going to feel quite as big of the disappointment when the new year comes compared to some. Instead, use that momentum and use all the data you get from what is working in Q4 to further just expand on that in 2026. If you need help either getting up your store, creating listings that sell, or scaling upwards, I have created the ultimate Etsy checklist, which is just a list of different checkpoints of things that you need to set up and different strategies that I use to ensure that you are creating a store that can actually sell and creating listings that can convert. So it has multiple different tabs, from laying the foundation on how to set up your storefront and make sure that all your policies are in place, things like how to create your SD listings, things like how to correctly set up your emails and your coupons and even that insert, and you can get it down below for only $9.99. So get ready. Q4 is an amazing time, but your next year will be as well. And if you learned anything from this video, if you could drop a like and subscribe, that would help me so much. Thank you guys, and I will see you next week.